Yo, welcome to the monthly update for January 2023. This might be a little bit longer, this update, because a lot of things happened. Gonna give you a quick overview. I'm gonna talk about the death of my mom. My mom died on the 5th of January, and her funeral and some learnings I had in that process, and the heritage and what's happening now with this house. I'm in her house at the moment, and yeah, for me in the next few months, where Diara and me are gonna stay. And then also I'm gonna give an update on the online course creation, the creation movie blueprint, and yeah, this whole program. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about AI, simply because if someone watches this video and doesn't know about AI yet, yeah, they have to. Okay, let's begin with the death of my mom. So she died on the 5th of January in the afternoon, and I was sitting next to her as she took her last breath. That was a very intense moment. Yeah, I felt, I don't know, it felt weird, like I never had experienced something like that before. But there was definitely relief because, yeah, in the weeks before, where my brothers and me were taking care of her, and we saw like every day got a little worse basically, and she was just extremely weak and couldn't communicate anymore because she couldn't speak anymore. So that was, yeah, it was challenging, And one of us was always awake, so if she needed something, we could take care of her. Um, yeah, and with this topic, death, um, because I I've done a lot of spiritual work and contemplated death and read about it, and yeah, I feel like the current understanding that I have right now allowed me to process it in a quite healthy way. And one thing that is very important to me in general, but also about this topic, is only because most people handle it a certain way doesn't mean it's the best way or it's the right way, right? We have certain ideas in our society about all different kind of things, including death, and how you should feel if someone dies, how long you should feel sad and be grieving, um, how a funeral should look like, and all of that stuff is is not absolutely true. It's just a way of doing it that is kind of normal in our society, and we can definitely debate if it's even the best or most healthy way to think about death, right? So it's not quote unquote um, right to feel sadness, or feel sadness for a certain period of time. And I've talked about this topic a few years ago, because one of my best friends died, and yeah, just thinking about it, this came up. If you imagine you would live in a culture where everyone believes that when we die, our soul is liberated and gets back into this infinite, beautiful place and is not bound to this human body or this human life, where there's a lot of suffering, a lot of limitations, then the people might celebrate if someone dies, and they might be just filled with gratitude for the time that they've spent together, but also now that this soul is, back to oneness or unity. So our beliefs shape how we feel about death, and the Western beliefs that are common here in Germany are only beliefs. They are definitely not the truth. um, someone who is conditioned with a lot of, let's say, Christian ideas and the concept of heaven and hell, and they know they've done some things in life that were not, you know, super good, then they might have a lot of fear to die because they are worried they might go to hell, right? And this could really um, take over their whole mental activity to just worry about it. And someone who grew up without this idea of heaven and hell, they don't have any of that, right? A Western person who grew up like myself, um, with a scientific understanding of the world and maybe with the belief that, well, if you die, it's just blackness, you're gone forever. Um, that can also be scary, right? Because it's so hard to imagine. Like, yeah. Um, anyway, that all to say that how we deal with it depends on our beliefs. And if your beliefs are different from mainstream society, then you will feel differently about whatever the topic is, in this case death, and that's totally okay. um, yeah, we don't all have to go through the same process and duration of grieving and so on. Yeah, extremely grateful that I could be with her. My two brothers could be with her, that we could take care of her together, that we could fulfill her wish that she could die at home in this house. Um, yeah, and that we all had our partners be there with us and supporting us on this journey. And then on the 20th January was her funeral. And yeah, we did it in our own unique way based on her wishes and who she was. And I think it resonated with a lot of people who came. We're more than 100 people, I think 130 people, a lot more than we expected. And one of my cousins told me after he received the invitation, which my brother and his partner designed, it was so like, he's like, yeah, that's who she was. And he was looking forward to the funeral, and he felt a little weird to share that with me. But he's like, the truth is, I was looking forward to seeing you guys and just to celebrate her. And his hesitation to share that shows that, well, he thought that's, you can't say that, right? That you're looking forward to a funeral, because that's always, you have to be sad and all of that. And I really appreciate it. Um, yeah. Another thing that I realized um, in this whole process was, I knew that before, but it was a great real life example of it. Every person that we know, or we think we know, we don't really know them. We have a story about them, about each person. You have a story about your partner, your parents, your friends, even your pets, your dog, whatever, and yourself. And it's very, very important for our personal development and spiritual development to recognize that we are holding stories and not the truth about the person. And those stories, obviously, they can be rewritten. And they automatically rewrite themselves in a way if you see someone do something that you didn't expect, and you're like, wow, maybe this person is more courageous than I thought. Or maybe this person is more insecure than I thought. Or funnier than I thought. And then you adjust your story a little bit. But also, whatever story you have will kind of automatically reinforce itself. So it takes a lot of open mindedness to be flexible in the story that we have about someone. Because our brain always wants to be coherent with its stories, right? Everything should kind of fit together. And it can be challenging if you know someone who's maybe doing one thing and then another, and then they're just acting in different ways, and you might actually maybe even become aware of how your brain struggles to put all of that together. Okay, we have my mom's dog for a week now because my two brothers are skiing for a week. So that's what you just heard in the background. um, yeah, so of course I had a story of my mom, right? And it wasn't a negative story. It also wasn't like the greatest story of all times. And because of the funeral and the words that people shared, the letters that they sent, um, the speech that my father gave, that my uncle gave, um, this story got changed, and in a beautiful way, right? I now see my mother as an even more special person than I saw her before, and the I didn't know the impression, the impact that she had on other people, before her hearing from them, what she meant to them and the qualities that they saw in her. And yeah, it was a really kind of mind-blowing process to bring together people who loved and liked and were friends of my mother, and hear them all share only the best about her, right? Because that's what you do in a funeral usually. um, and then to have or to see my own story change about her. And a takeaway is also, how can we recreate that? Like, if someone struggles with their feeling of self esteem, self value, self confidence, and they would get together all the people that love them, appreciate them, have experienced them, and they all share the positive things that they observed. This could be such a boost in self confidence. But yeah, it usually doesn't happen. We don't have really rituals in our society that are um, aimed, or that are intended to do that. So I think there's a lot of potential to just play around with that idea. Um, I was in Bali, and a good friend of mine, it was her birthday, and another person suggested that we are going around and we all share our appreciation, what we love about this person, and then also record it. So this person first got to hear it all live and receive all of that love and appreciation, which boosted the confidence. But then also they had a recording to, whenever they felt low, to re-listen to it. And I thought that's an amazing idea. That's probably the best birthday gift you can give to someone. Yeah, just to maybe inspire you to copy that if you feel like it. Cool. Okay, I think that's that topic. Oh yeah, connected to that is, we are going to inherit her stuff. Everything that she owned gets split between me and my two brothers, including this house. So we were thinking that maybe Diara and me would move in here and make a business incubator, co-living space out of it, where we would live, and like some really cool people, friends that we already know, or other like-minded people. Um, but then we ditched this idea because first, I just last year gave up my German residency to be a digital nomad or perpetual traveler. Um, yeah, because I knew I don't want to live in Germany, and also why would I pay tax in Germany if I'm not going to live there? So we would have to redo all of that. We would have to invest quite a lot of money in this house to make it really nice, and then it's not certain that it would really work out, that we would find enough people, that they would pay the amount that we need them to pay. And also, we don't really want to stay here the whole year, and then yeah, what will we do in the winter? So the newest update is, technically that's an update from February, because we just decided like 2 days ago, and today's the 3rd of February, that we will most likely go back to Bali in a few weeks. We don't have the flights yet. Yeah, to to be in Bali, to be in warm weather, to for me to show Diara the lifestyle in Bali, but also to live with friends of ours together there. And yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing experience to live with other entrepreneurs, digital nomads in the same villa, and support each other and co-create and collaborate. And yeah, so that's that. And yeah, maybe later this year, meeting up with some other friends to live in a camper van for a few weeks and travel and make content. Um, yeah, we'll see how this year unfolds, but that's where we are so far. Yeah, cool. Creation movies. Yeah, so some very interesting news there. First, I started amping up my collaboration, my work with my assistant slash social media content creator person, Winda, and I feel like it's going really well. Like she's really creative and helping me to produce content for this new brand. I also had an insight a few days ago, or maybe a week, I don't know, that I wanna use the term recondition your subconscious mind. So that's what I'm gonna teach people. That's the wording that I'm gonna use. It is not as spiritual as like manifesting. Um, it's not reprogramming the subconscious mind, which has this, metaphor of, yeah, our brain. We are like a computer, and the programs that are running. Yeah, I can make another video about why I don't like this language too much. So yeah, we are all conditioned throughout our childhood, and yeah, from our parents, society, and most of, if not all, of our limitations are because of that conditioning. So if we want to live a bigger life, a fuller life, achieve different things, then we need to recondition our subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is really running our life. Yeah, so there's content being produced. We already have a few really cool carousels that you can check out on Instagram, creation.movies. My intention is to focus more on YouTube as the main platform for a little bit, yeah, longer content. Yeah, and in that process, yeah, AI plays a role, because AI can really help to produce content, to come up with ideas and outlines. And if you haven't heard about the role of AI, right? I mean, at this time, probably everyone has. But a lot of people, I know those people myself, like, yeah, that's not relevant for me. I'm too old for that. No, you're not. And you better stay open for it, because this will change everything, every industry, and it will be a part of your life, most likely. So instead of resisting it, learn how to use it. Yeah, what it can do for you, and maybe what it cannot do for you. And maybe you're even in a position where AI will kind of change your field of work and replace, in a way, what you're doing to a degree. So you definitely want to partner up with AI, instead of like, oh no, I don't know, I'm secretly afraid of it, so I'm just, not looking at it. And one thing that is extremely interesting is what happened is everyone thought, well, AI will first take over those jobs that are very low skill, right? Like not the knowledge work, but driving cars maybe, or doing like simple task, like robotic tasks. Um, but creative people, artists and writers, they don't have to worry because it's going to take so long until AI can do this. And now it's exactly the opposite, which first shows us that no one can predict the future. This is something that, I mean, maybe some people have seen it coming, but the mainstream got it completely wrong, and if I heard about it, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, this is the jobs that AI can't replace. Um, yeah, now it's starting from that side, right? The language models that AI is built on top, they can generate text that if you read it, you think a human wrote it, and um, with Midjourney, you can generate images that just look incredible. Yeah, so that's interesting, and it's something just to keep in mind that we often don't know how things at the end of the day will, play out. Mm, so with this, there's image generation and then there's text generation. Those are the big AI skills in a way right now. And I'm not really skilled at writing, you know, partly because English is not my first language, partly because I just haven't practiced it enough. And I often have kind of writer's block where I just want to write a quick caption for Instagram and then I got hung up on it and I just don't know. And so using AI is extremely exciting for me because you can use it to generate ideas, to generate an outline, to you write something and you want it to expand on it and just make it a little bit longer and fill in some more details. You can summarize stuff, you can rephrase it. So yeah, there's a lot of amazing things that we can do. And also it's a tool, and even though it's maybe a lot easier to use than other tools, it still needs some practice. And yeah, if you just ask the wrong things, then AI might not give you what you're looking for. And it's not AI's fault, it's the fault of the person who's using it. Yeah. Oh, another aspect of AI that is absolutely mind blowing is the yeah, generating voices from text. So you can already generate text, but now you can also give this text to another AI and it will read it in a human-like voice. And the latest iterations, it's very hard to tell the difference. There's actually a podcast, completely AI generated podcast. If you go to podcaster.ai, and there's a podcast episode, a fake one, between Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs. And it's mind blowing. The voices and what they talk about, the depth of the conversation. Yeah, it's almost indistinguishable. And the improvement of those technology is very fast. And it's accelerating. So yeah, this year we will have the new GPT, which is the biggest language processing AI, as far as I know. The new update, basically. I don't know if update is the right word. It's the new version that is trained on, I think, 100 trillion parameters instead of the current one, which is already extremely powerful, which I think is trained on 10 billion. So it's gonna be absolutely crazy, and yeah, they're gonna launch this year. So get ready for some wild stuff. Um, yeah, I've read, um, not completely finished, but the book, The Untethered Soul, which is a really cool book. It's a very popular book. I've read, did we finish it this month? I think last month. The Relationship Handbook, which is the best book about relationships I've ever read. So if you are in a relationship, if you want to be in a relationship, and you want to improve it, read The Relationship Handbook by George Bransky. Yeah, and I feel like I'm quite grounded right now in the three principle, which is a understanding about how the human experience works, the human psychology. It's for me the most beautiful understanding and wording and explanation of it. Compared to all the different spiritual teachings and religions and frameworks and models that people have, this for me is the most pure and accurate. And the more we are understanding the nature of reality, right, the better our life becomes, the less disturbed we get by certain events or what people do. But that being said, it is a more challenging time right now with losing my mother, with so much kind of change and uncertainty, and my partner and me, we having a few more difficult moments, and just needing to hold space for each other, to process stuff, to navigate this change at the moment. But throughout all of that, I'm extremely excited to explore Bali with her, to just be with her and live with her, and eventually start a family and also grow our businesses. Sometimes I can get hung up on, oh shit, there's so much to do, it's so much bureaucracy now for inheriting this stuff and getting rid of all the stuff in the house, and like 100 things to take care of, and then I can stress myself a little bit and forgetting that I'm so blessed and everything is good, and life is amazing. Cool. I think that's it. Almost half an hour. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna leave it at that. And see you next month. Maybe I managed to upload another YouTube video in between, but also maybe not. I want to keep my focus. I completely forgot to share that. So, creation movies, the creation movie blueprint. The first version is basically done and already not good enough anymore for me, so I want to improve it. And I decided to first do a group program with like up to 8 people to share this new program. I have changed the order of things a little bit. I've added a new approach that I think is going to be so much better, more practical, more focused on what really matters if we want to recondition our subconscious mind. And I'm gonna, right now, between all of the things that are going on, I am trying to finish the presentation so I can teach the stuff on a call live with people in an interactive way. And then there will be a program that's probably around 4 weeks maybe, where they get one-on-one support with those weekly group teaching calls, group coaching calls. Before I then maybe afterwards record another video version of the course. I want to get real feedback and work with people in a group container. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, so I don't have a super fixed timeline, but hopefully in a month or so this can start. And I think the price point will be around 470. And I will be able to give everyone a lot of attention and make sure that at the end they have their own creation movie. Okay, just realized that I can only record for 30 minutes and then the camera stops for whatever reason. So they will have their own creation movie. They will have a different tools that they can use on a daily basis to, at the core, change who they are, what qualities they um, yeah, they live with, and yeah, how they are feeling and acting in life, and through that get better results. So that's coming soon. If you're interested in joining, send me a message. I don't know, either on Instagram or Facebook or email, whatever, and I can keep you on the list. And as soon as I'm ready to launch and get the group together, I will contact you. Yeah, okay, cool. That's it. I'm out. Peace.